Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the
Gay.
now.
What is up, y'all? Welcome back to your boy's channel, and welcome if you're new. My name is Mars, and I know you saw that title. It probably effed you up, but you know what? We're gonna get deep. We're gonna get real deep in today's topic because we're talking about rainbow washing. We're talking about the problem with Pride Month, corporate capitalism, performative allyship. We're getting into it all because these companies be trying it, these brands be trying it, and they be acting as if they're an ally towards the community when they're really just here for your bucks and your change and your coin. They will do whatever it takes to get an extra few dollars in their pockets, and they will come up off of the LGBT community to do so. So if you've been living under a rock or you don't know what Pride Month is pretty much a month where we celebrate the visibility, equality, and the opportunity to live freely as yourself, as a queer person, you know, a lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, non-binary, whatever you may identify as. This is that moment where we celebrate our lives, we celebrate our voices being heard, our artistry, our creativity, our beings in certain spaces. We celebrate that. So Pride Month is the month where, you know, it's all about celebrating being gay, being non-binary, being whatever you identify as, being an ally to those who are part of this marginalized community. So with that, as we have a month that celebrates the queer community, we also have brands and companies who try to come up off of the dollars and the backs and the coin of the LGBTQ community with a marketing campaign where they slap a rainbow logo on their logos or their products or their packaging and try to pass that off as if they're an ally, or if, you know, they're a part of the community, or that they stand with us, when 9 times out of 10 sometimes it's just performative. They're not really for us. It's something that may start June 1st and end July 1st. It's not something that's 365 days out of the year. It's not something where they're actually donating to GLAAD or the Trevor Project or the Human Rights Campaign. These are companies who, you know, you don't really know what they do for the LGBT community. You might actually support anti-LGBT legislation and policies. It gets crazy, girl. It gets crazy. So what is rainbow washing? Rainbow washing is pretty much the use of the rainbow symbol or its colors used by companies and brands to indicate solidarity with Pride, whether their own policies and actions benefit the LGBT community or not. So the problem with that is, to the general public, to people, sometimes people within the community, myself included, sometimes we don't really know which companies and which brands are actually authentically here for the LGBT community. If everyone's slapping a rainbow on their logos, their products, their packaging, it becomes hard to differentiate between which companies are authentic and which companies are disingenuous. Do y'all remember last summer when the whole Black Lives Matter movement was really in full effect and everyone was outside, you know, in full support and protest, putting the black square on their Instagram feeds, doing hashtag Black Lives Matter, you know, things like that. It's like the easiest way to show support so you don't get the backlash or scrutiny for not being on the bandwagon. Like, no company or brand wants to make it seem as if they're not a supporter of the LGBT community, because if you don't really support and the general public knows you don't support, it looks bad to the general public. Like, it looks bad to consumers. Like, it looks bad to potential customers. So when you have these brands or companies doing the easy way out, or doing the lazy slapping a rainbow, or showing a spectrum of colors on their various products, but they don't really give back to LGBT communities or donations like GLAAD or the Trevor Project, it's disingenuous, and it's not authentic. It's not authentic. Last year, there was a lot of people that were called out for performative activism. There needs to be more companies and more brands that are being called out for performative allyship. These companies aren't really here for us, but they will gladly take our hard-earned coin. They would gladly take your paycheck. They would gladly take any donations that you will put in their pockets for their company. Meanwhile, the whole time, they're signing an anti-LGBT policy for the company. Like, Or hell, even the country. You never know, like you don't know. And it becomes hard to differentiate between which companies are authentic in their efforts to support and uplift the community and which ones are just here as a marketing campaign. I don't understand. So this brings me to performative allyship. Basically, performative allyship occurs when you're not genuine in your efforts to help or uplift the LGBT community. Take ICE, for example. ICE, the organization that is against, illegal immigrants and, that whole shebang, right? They put out a tweet stating, and I'll put it here up on the screen, during Pride Month, we recognize our LGBTQ plus employees, reflect on the trials that their community has endured, and rejoice with them in the triumphs of those who have bravely fought and continue to fight for full equality. Which is like, girl, this doesn't make sense, because if you Google ICE, you'll see the various LGBTQ plus community folks that are in detainment, that are getting mistreated, that are being killed, that aren't being looked after properly. Like, you can't have all that going down in your organization, but then tweet out this half-ass tweet. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's very performative. It's like, we're with you, but we're not really with you. And it's like, you can't straddle the fence. You have to pick a side. Are you with us or are you not with us? Are the policies in place within your company, within your brand, to make sure that people within the community are being treated fairly and equally? Or are we just being disregarded and discriminated against, as we have always been for years prior to this? There's even an article with Rolling Stone of a trans woman dying in ICE custody. Like, it does not get any worse. It doesn't get any, I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, and these are some of the companies that you may support and the organizations you may be a part of. Like, sometimes we have to educate ourselves and understand that not everybody is for us, but instead of being open with that, they like to mask and hide behind, this rainbow curtain, we'll say, to make it seem as if they're really here for the community when they're not. It's disgusting, actually. It's disgusting when you think about it. I mean, hell, even Chick-fil-A, like, they are a company known for being anti-LGBT, but if they come out here with Pride merch and Pride logos on their Chick-fil-A sign or on their website, it's gonna look very suspect, and it's gonna be like, what? Like, girl, what are we doing here? What is it giving? Because this is not it. It's not it. Especially when you're a company known for donating to the Family Research Council, a council and an organization that's fully known not to be here for the LGBT community. So, girl, what is it giving? I would be appalled. I would be appalled. However, even though there's probably a plethora of companies that don't support the LGBT community, there are actually companies that are actually giving back and donating profits and proceeds to various LGBT nonprofits, such as the Trevor Project, GLAAD, and the Human Rights Campaign. Hell, even Burger King. Burger King is a company known for obviously having LGBT pride whoppers, or even their Chicken sandwich this year, where every 40 cents of that sandwich sold gets donated to the Human Rights Campaign. That's how you do it. If you're gonna show support, if you're gonna show allyship, that's how you do it. Then you have other companies and brands such as UGG, who's donating $125,000 to GLAAD. Reebok, who's donating $75,000 to the Sylvia Rivera Law Project. Doc Martens, the brand, is also donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project. Olay, a brand who's also donating $75,000 to the Trevor Project and supporting iHeartRadio, Can't Cancel Pride, and Celebration of Visibility and Funds for the LGBT. And Gap, who's also donating $50,000 to the GLAAD Project. So there's so many brands out there that are actually doing the back work and actually following through with allyship. Like, they're supporting, they're donating, they're actually doing the back work. Big moves are being made. Big moves are being made, but that can't be said for all of these companies. That can't be said for all of these brands. But that's just me saying all this to say, rainbow washing, pink washing, whatever you want to call it, that is an issue during Pride Month. That is an issue that diminishes and weakens the LGBT community. When you come up off of the gay community just for monetization, for your own gain, it's performative, it's not real, it's not authentic, and I see right through the BS. I see right through it. So what can you do to stop rainbow washing? Learn. Know which companies are actually authentically supporting the LGBT community. Know which companies are actually acting against anti-LGBT laws, policies, and legislation. Do they support the LGBT community year-round, or is it just this month out of the full year? Do their employee policies and consumer policies back up the gay community? Are they an actual ally, or are they just masking themselves to actually get in more bucks and more consumers and more customers? That's all it is. So ask yourself. And just be an actual ally. You don't have to be queer to celebrate Pride. You don't have to be gay to be an ally. Like, it's all about equality. It's all about visibility. It's all about making sure queer voices, trans voices, non-binary voices are all heard. That's it. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you all for listening. This was a deep video. I haven't done a video essay in quite some time, girl. It's been a minute, but this was such a serious topic. It was very important to me. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for listening, girl. Thank you. And happy Pride. If you like what you see, you want to see more of me, definitely subscribe. Let's talk about rainbow washing, Pride Month. What are your plans for Pride Month? Let's talk about it all in the comments down below. If you like what you see, you want to see more of me, subscribe, girl. But until then, I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.